Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo Saturday edition. I'm your host and keeper of the Harry channel. And with me tonight are Minions 3, myself, SkepTock.
Hi, everybody.
And Sora Luna.
Good evening.
Serenity should be joining us later. I think we might get DrFunctional, and I actually sent a link out to Kefki, so we'll see who shows up on a Saturday evening. I mean, there's so many things one can do on a Saturday evening other than hang out with us, but this isn't so bad. This is pretty good. This is, how many years have we been doing this, Skep? You and I?
Well,
like 2, 3.
yeah, about 3 years for you and I.
Yeah.
And for those of us who've been doing Minions, it's been about 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've been doing this for a while. Here in Central California, I know before I ask you guys about your stuff, here in Central California, we're experiencing what you call an atmospheric river, which means...
Oh, nice.
It's your turn.
It's my turn. So we're looking at 30-plus mile-an-hour winds with gusts of God knows what tomorrow.
You don't live in Los Banos.
In the bathrooms? No, I don't live in Los Banos. But no, there's just wind and gale force and this and that. It is not a time to be on a small ship. That's for damn sure. So it's going to be like a few inches of rain, and over the next 36 hours, it's going to be rough. But I don't care because I've got backup power and I've got backup network. I have no excuse. But I was calling up my friends and saying, hey, can I help you with your prep? Do you need to borrow a generator? You know, just ask me now. Because later I'm not going to be in a position to help you. So if there's anything you need to take care of, talk to me about it now. Hi, Sora.
Hello.
How you doing?
Oh, very good. Cannot complain.
Yeah, we chatted a bit before the show. Is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't? Anything you want to share?
Trying to think if has anything exciting happened.
Is it easy to maneuver in Vancouver?
Well, I will be going to another foodie thing next Friday, or this coming Friday.
Good.
So that's exciting for me. And we are starting our hot chocolate festival.
You have a hot chocolate festival. That sounds pretty swell.
It's sort of, the idea is to kind of coincide with Valentine's Day and stuff like that, like going towards that. But I'm not sure if this year it's going to overlap it or not. But yeah, that's kind of it. We will at some point in the coming months have our drainage and stuff changed here. So I'm looking forward to that.
So they let you celebrate Valentine's Day in Canada still?
It's very heteronormative.
Yeah, heteronormative and kind of white, frankly.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, don't give them ideas, please.
So, God, when I was a kid, there was this guy who all over the Central Coast. This is his name. This was his business. This is not a private individual. This is his name. It was a Jeffrey O'Latch or something like that. And he was a grown-ass man who would dress up like Cupid and just sort of do the singing telegram thing. And with his little silk pants and his little white stockings, and this grown-ass man who looked kind of like a fat Richard Simmons would show up and Cupidize people for you. I used to think it was the cringiest thing. I remember seeing him in person one time. I'm like, oh my God, this is just the worst. But everybody else was just kind of eating it up. And I'm like, you are way too cynical for this world, Harry. I thought it was terrible. No, it's nice.
Brain cells all in one package.
Just too. It was terrible. I mean, it wasn't terrifying. I wasn't scared of him. I just thought it was a terrible, terrible thing for a grown-ass man to behave like that. Anyway, I have a lot of weird ideas.
Yeah. It's like standing in the middle of a bunch of cows.
How have you been, Skep?
I can't really complain.
That's good.
My hand is so palsied from overuse. When you play the guitar and banjo and you play seriously for 50 or 60 years, which I've done, you simply get repetitive stress injuries that build on themselves, and eventually stuff stops working. But this served me. I turned this to my advantage today because it was time to go out and weed the potato gardens.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too sore. Had to stay in. I watched Brenda weed them. She did a good job. She missed a couple of places.
Did you get
went
like
out
a little chair and sit out there and point at the spots that she missed?
That's exactly what I did. That's precisely what I did.
You know what would be really great? Okay, would be great with the chair. Get a nice cold non-alcoholic drink, but also get a green laser pointer. And when you see something that she missed, just kind of like go over there.
I had a laser pointer. I actually thought of this idea when I was out there. I said I should go get the laser pointer and point, because she was stubbornly refusing to go back to the areas I was pointing out. Still had some little bits of clover in them. And, I said, you're going to be sorry if you don't get that clover out of there.
Well,
but she was not listening. She's actually the head gardener. I'm actually just the assistant. I'm Manuel, the laborer. That's who I am.
Yeah. You're just a lackey.
In charge.
I mean, you're a minion.
She would be doing most of this anyway, because she's better at it, frankly, than I am. She's better at every aspect of gardening than I am, except lifting things.
Yeah.
It's a funny existence, Harry.
Well, you seem like a man who would appreciate a good ladder, and
yes, I do.
I fell for the marketing on like the little giant ladder system, and it's really nice. You can use it sort of in its A configuration. You can use it like extended outward.
Harry,
it's so many options.
You can make this thing into a 20-foot extension ladder.
You
stand it up like a teepee.
It's the best thing.
You can use it as an apartment building. You can rent it out.
It's so good thing. Home gym. You can do
right.
You can do deadlifts with it. It's great.
It dices.
Well, speaking of slicing and dicing, I released the slide on one of those things and it had one of my fingers in the wrong place.
No,
I smashed it right on. Your right hand, the finger that's right next to the thumb.
Yes.
That finger that in the first joint, and I smashed the ever-loving crap out of it. And I'm lucky I didn't do more damage to it. But I go on about my day. I have a pretty high pain threshold for most types of pain. There's a few kinds that I'm pretty whiny about, but I smashed that joint, and every now and then I'll be doing something, and I'll just go, "Holy crap!"
Yeah.
Stop doing. If it hurt more, I'd probably hurt myself less. But I'm really glad I didn't break something. Because that's a heavy-ass ladder.
How long ago was that?
Gosh, I was getting ready for the super fun rain event, and so when was I cleaning the gutters? I think it was on Monday or Tuesday.
All right, so how's the healing?
Fine.
Okay.
Everything's good.
Did you
Old duct tape?
No, seriously.
Everything was on the inside. It just, the joint got a little angry at me, and it puffed up a little bit. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done far dumber things to my body than that. Let's see. Do we have anybody in chat? Let's see. Hey, Costin. Nothing to see here. Green Badger.
He mentions the audio is a little quiet.
Okay. I could boost it.
No, tell him to turn up his volume.
A little quiet is good. A lot quiet is bad.
You could turn up your volume, which is what I did. I turned mine. Harry got quieter.
It is doing that thing again where when I'm on the correct audio output, it ends up being really low.
Something's adjusting in output level. Almost guarantee it. There's some automatic adjustment of volume that probably is happening.
I think it's far more subtle than that, Skep.
Oh.
I wish it was something that easy. Let me.
It's going to be something like altered resistance in the circuit.
Okay, I'm going to do something that's going to be pretty terrible.
Okay.
That should pretty much double it. If that's terrible for everybody, please let me know. Okay.
It sounds like you turned up the gain.
I may have. A lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
I just basically doubled the volume in StreamYards. Hopefully that's enough for everybody.
Oh, okay.
That'll buy us some time until we figure out what the hell's going on.
All right.
Okay. If only there was like a streaming thing that I could pay not too much money for that would let me do this, something like StreamYard, but not terrible. Wouldn't that be great?
You know, the thing about StreamYard is it's so much better than nothing.
Yeah. But I can't do the show the way I want to do it with StreamYard without paying them a lot more money.
In fairness, you push that product a lot more than most people push it, which is a good thing. I mean,
I'm good at breaking things.
Like you.
Yeah,
they love people like you. Are you interested in doing any development work with them? Getting on beta group or something like that?
We could
or
try.
Are you already there?
Not much change. That's really odd because I cranked the volume up a lot.
You sound
You don't
richer in my ears.
You wouldn't notice it unless you're listening to the stream. It doesn't affect any of our communication.
I don't notice that there.
Maybe you were talking closer to Mike. I don't know.
Okay. I will. I can double it again. Another 3 dB. This should double the output. Once again. See if that's okay. All right. So let's hopefully we can carry on. If it's too terrible, we can restart the stream with different audio settings. But there's some stuff that we should probably go back over. I like to go back and look at things we've already done.
Harry, there's almost nothing coming through on that stream.
Wow. Okay.
Hold on. Let me make sure I'm not lying to you, but I think I'm not. Yeah, no. It's volume cranked at 80. You're still soft. You should be loud as hell right now.
Okay. Well,
and you sound tremendously loud.
Okay, is it better? Oh, crap. That's way too much.
Yay!
Here, let me fix that. Let's not have it be quite that loud.
Thank you.
Okay. How's that, everybody? Is that okay? Everybody happy? Well, you won't know for 30 seconds, but I can pretty much assure you it's good now. We all happy?
Yep. Much better.
Okay, but the thing is, you will now not be able to hear audio from any of the things that I was going to play. But we have 60 things in the spreadsheet. I'll just not go with the things that have audio. How about that? Okay. So, in terms of things that we have talked about previously, I can just do... Loss of In-N-Out Burger sparks Oakland mayor recall effort.
And the Denny's that was across the street.
Oh, that's
those places.
That's the next thing on the spreadsheet, Skep.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's fine. We can take care.
They're both on Hagenberger Road.
They're both on Hagenberger Road. Denny's on Hagenberger Corridor in Oakland shuts down for good due to crime.
Yeah.
You've got like one job when you're running a city. You've got one job.
By the way, everybody, Hagenberger Road is the road to the airport.
Yeah, so, Oakland International Airport. It's not like a regional airport or a place for model airplanes. It's a place where planes go directly to other countries. It's like a serious airport.
It's seriously a busy airport. It's busier than the international airport at Detroit, for example. It's substantially more busy.
Wow.
Anyway. How do go on?
It's fine. But anyway.
You know that anyway, I made the comment about Detroit because I had to look up Detroit's population for something unrelated. And Detroit has 300,000 less people than, wait for it, Fort Worth, Texas. Not DFW, not Dallas, Fort Worth.
Yeah, I was talking to a young guy who he basically works at a grocery store I go to, and this guy is moving to Colorado, and he's saying, "Yeah, I'm moving to Colorado." And I said, "Where in Colorado? Please don't tell me you're going to Fort Collins." Unless you're joining the Air Force, don't do that.
Right. You have to go up to the base up there.
He's like, I said, just go to Denver. You'll be fine. But remember, just keep your back turned to Kansas all the time. Just look at the Rocky Mountains and just pretend that that's all of Colorado. You'll be perfectly happy.
Yep.
Or just go to Boulder, and then you really will just be surrounded by beautiful stuff.
Except for the people who aren't beautiful. But yes, everything else is beautiful. I will say one thing about the flat part of Colorado. It's a very interesting thing that not very many people know about. The southeast, basically quarter of the state, grows the best, fanciest, and most expensive cantaloupes in the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love cantaloupe.
Yeah, year after year, they award-winning cantaloupes. All the best cantaloupes come out from southeastern Colorado, that flat area, and also parts of Oklahoma and Kansas too. Anyway, more than you wanted to know, but there you go.
I haven't rigged up the thing that gives me the more you know thing with the little star and the jingle.
Yeah, that's what we need. Yes.
I don't have that. I only have this.
Plus size stores be like BB fat.
Okay. Sorry. I apologize. Oh, that's right. You can't hear it because of the audio.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I'm sure it was excellent.
Yeah. Well, hey, chat was able to hear it. That's all that matters. So, so Oakland continues to spiral into the drain. Let's see, what other follow-ups do we have to talk about? Oh, I was actually, I wasn't wrong so much as just I didn't know the whole picture. I mentioned Jeff Bezos's competitor with Starlink and found out, they're basically doing a mesh laser network between the satellites. We all said, hey, that sounds fantastic. Why isn't everybody doing that? Well, turns out Starlink is doing that. I just didn't know it. Not only is Starlink doing it, here's some statistics for you, Skep. 2.3 million plus customers in 70 countries on 7 continents, 9,000 plus space lasers, peak throughput, 5.6 terabits per second, with a daily traffic over lasers in space of 42 petabytes.
God damn.
Jesus Christ.
That's a number that, even if you could understand how big that number is, which most people have nothing they can, there's nothing you can count. That's how we do numbers. That's how we know how big numbers are.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to express how much that is. And the rate, what was that rate? How many terabits per second?
5.6.
Jesus, that is...
Lasers are cool.
Lasers are amazing. Lasers...
But just that number, I mean, just this one thing, 9,000 plus space lasers. Doesn't that just make you want the edges of your mouth just curl up? Just like, just it's like, because one space laser, that sounds pretty cool, but 9,000 space lasers, that's amazing.
That's heaven.
Now, if they make it over 9,000.
It's over 9,000. Thank you. That is pretty awesome. So there's a little bit of data here, which we lacked from the Bezos version of it. The satellites are constantly forming lasers, resulting in 266,141 laser acquisitions per day.
Oh my God!
It's an optical mesh network. It's an optical mesh network. I was going to say, with that many satellites in space, he could make kind of a mesh, a little network. Well, that's how it works. And I mean, for people, okay, a little bit of internet
them with like nylon things.
A little bit of internet history. Mesh networks are not basically sort of fixed point-to-point type networks. Mesh networks predate the internet, the actual internet that people know of. You go and look up something called the Aloha Project, which was a packet radio thing. They were experimenting with mesh packet routed, routed packet radio using the Aloha thing before the internet even existed. They were working on this kind of stuff.
How many years has it been since I thought about the
That
Aloha?
was like mid 60s, I think, or late 60s.
That was when I was living in Colorado and Dad was talking about that.
Yep.
This is 1966, 67.
Yeah. And so mesh networks are super cool.
Oh man.
But anyway, enough of that. Let's see. What else do we
say
need
hello
talk
to
about?
chat?
I did say hello to chat. Can you do it again? No, you do it because you're better at it.
I'm seeing Assassin, Badger, and Johnny Hellcat. I'm sorry, I stepped away and may have.
Yep,
missed
nothing
that.
to see
I
here.
want to make sure
we already said hello to Green Badger and Costin.
All right, hello, Costin. Start blaming.
Yeah.
And good to have everybody. Anybody who is in chat who we did not greet, please announce yourself, and we would love to say hey to you. And thanks for coming and listening to us prattle on today.
Hola,
right,
chicas and chicos. I guess chicos would be the other one, right?
Chicas.
And
Chicos
and the non-binary
else.
ones would be Chicex.
Yeah, Chicas.
Hola, chicks.
We checks.
Here I was promising never to do accents again. Okay.
Gay checks.
So, Sora, I have a confrontational relationship with fish.
Mm-hmm.
And
you got a new one?
Well, this one is not new, but it's a baby. Now, this is something that completely blew my mind because I had no idea that this fact was completely new to me. California boasts world's first sighting of a baby great white shark.
Aww.
First sighting. Nobody has ever sighted a baby great white shark. We knew they had to exist, but we've never actually seen one.
Actually, most of them don't get away from dad.
So we've actually seen a baby great white shark, and there's his
Is
little
that the baby?
Yeah, there's his little shark face. He's a newborn shark. They found him off of all places, San Diego.
Oh my God!
That's so
look
cute.
at the baby.
He's not cute.
Maybe you could catch him and make him not violent.
Maybe you could teach him to solve crimes.
Yes.
Get him a little jacket, little hat, maybe a little magnifying glass.
Magnifying glass. Yes.
Have you guys never seen Sharky and George?
No.
They're detectives in the bottom of the sea.
Thanks, Assassin.
Growing up.
Sharky and George.
I've never seen that.
Sharky was the detective and George was his assistant.
But doesn't that blow your mind? How is it possible that until just recently, humans have never seen a baby great white shark?
It's interesting. It's a baby, yet Sharku is the Elvish word for old man.
And charcuterie is what I wish I was consuming right now. But we can't all get what we want. So
maybe fish-based charcuterie. Would that interest you?
First we smoke it and then we eat it. That's fine.
Exactly.
It's fine by me.
Terrible.
Yeah.
No.
There's actually a place that makes fish icing for cakes.
I hear these are extra tender. People who don't eat gelatin, like the not vegan, but vegetarian marshmallows have fish gelatin in them.
Nice.
Wait, vegan have fish gelatin in it?
No, I said vegetarian. I corrected myself.
Oh, vegetarian, sorry.
Because that would just be crazy.
Obviously, my hearing.
I mean, fish are basically just ocean vegetables as far as I'm concerned.
But a true vegetarian, my understanding is that they don't eat fish, or do they?
Oh no, you can eat pescatarian. There are a lot of vegetarians who will eat
Those
fish.
are pescatarians, right? Those are pescatarians that will eat fish. Or do they abstain from fish?
I have no idea. I don't.
Pescatarians do eat fish. So the animal ingredient they'll have is fish.
Yeah. But anyway, there's a baby great white shark. You may have wondered what he's going to grow up to be, a big old boat attacker. No, those are orcas. Never mind. I can't keep all of my ocean death things
Why do you
straight.
have this confrontational relationship with fish?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just want to eat them. So
the goldfish tried to drown him in his youth.
Yeah, exactly.
Goldfish abuse, it's the thing.
So what am I trying to say? Oh, so the satellite Berry 1, the one that's supposed to be testing the quantum inertia drive. I know it's kind of a shock to you, Skep. They haven't actually started the test yet.
Can you even begin to imagine my shock?
I know. I think it's important that they milk the publicity for as long as possible.
Jesus.
It's going to be, I mean, honestly, I really hope it works, but my expectations are fairly low. So this is the guy who's in charge of the company that's putting this together. And I had never looked at his X or Twitter page before. He describes himself just a servant of God to mankind, assistant pastor and CEO of IVO Limited. Welcome
Harry?
To the future. What?
Harry?
Yeah.
There's someone at the door.
Oh.
Can you let her in?
Is it Secretariat? Oh, no. Damn.
I'm just sitting there being an annoying 2-year-old going, Harry.
I'm sorry, I wasn't looking.
I only
at
have
it.
so many. I only have so many
I
eyeballs.
was not looking at it.
And you have so many tabs open.
I'll keep this open.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Serenity.
No, it's
Skep.
fine. It takes a village to mismanage this show.
We're all bozos on this bus.
You know, despite all of my bluster with Functional, the audio was borked again.
Of course it was. Why
But
am I
don't
not
tell
surprised?
Functional. He's not here to call me a boomer, so that's his problem, isn't it?
No, you're just a Gen Xer. You'll blame the boomers.
Yeah. I'll blame anybody. So, but yeah, so they haven't run the test yet. I'm still watching because if it fails, I want to be able to say, haha, but you know, if it succeeds, I want to be able to let everybody know. I mean, when I start looking at a story like this, I follow it until one of us dies. That's the way it works. So remember we talked about the whole Stanley Cup thing, as in the thermoses, not the hockey thing. Sorry, don't get excited,
Yes.
Sorry, I know you're Canadian, but
Beauty.
sorry, what?
Beauty.
So
Just being
what? So
Canadian, eh?
there were a bunch of things I did not know about the people who got fired from Target for buying these special edition mugs. First of all, I didn't realize what a huge thing this is. It's apparently some TikTok craze.
Yeah.
Some genius of marketing has gone in with Stanley and created this sort of intentional scarcity hype machine that's been getting a bunch of people buying these things. And it was huge on TikTok. All these people wanting to get these pink Valentine's Day / breast
Pink and
cancer.
red.
Yeah, it was a big
pink and red
thing.
ones, yeah.
Well,
Was that done in the United States? I'm just
Yes.
curious.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And
then
so I
it's
didn't
illegal.
realize what a big deal it was. So I feel like a lot of the people who bought these things probably should have ought to know better. I've definitely changed my position. I did not know all of what was going on. You know, but if they
Are
ask
they
their
any
boss,
good?
the mugs,
Yeah.
Stanley's are pretty good. Like,
okay.
yeah,
I've got a
good
Yeti. Is it better than a Yeti?
No, they're
Comparable.
the Yeti's a little bit better, but Stanley's aren't bad. Stanley's been around as long almost as Yeti has.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
I know this is going to make you laugh, Serenity, but I tend to buy the Japanese stuff.
No, that makes sense.
The Japanese
I-
stuff
I-
is not made in China. That's why I buy it.
I buy
It's
Ozark
all
Trail
good
from
stuff.
Walmart because Ozark Trail you can put in the dishwasher.
Is it made in not China?
I haven't gotten poisoned by lead yet. It claims most of it's made in America. I'll go with what I got.
Yeah.
It's cheaper and I can put it in the dishwasher. That's all I care about.
Well, the whole Stanley thermos cup craze thing has kind of run into a bit of a problem in that they actually use lead in the manufacture of these things, but it's not inside the vacuum, the part where the food goes, but it's still there. When you start getting a bunch of sheep worked up to buy this sort of stuff in a viral craze, the tiniest little bit of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, is all it takes to basically make your craze collapse on itself. This is not me claiming that people are ingesting lead from using these things. I'm not saying that at all. But it doesn't matter what I think. I'm not their target customers. But these reports that there's some lead used in the manufacture, I guess, have tanked this craze. It's just dropped off precipitously because of the
is
rumors.
That real?
It's it kind of is. The issue is, and one of the ones that started it is a small time company called Mermaid Straws. At least they're the ones I saw start it. Mermaid Straws makes metal straws that are like that weird like combination color, and they're supposed to be because people with disabilities, blah 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 blah. And they basically started it because they did it with a bunch of thermos makers to prove that their thermos is better than everybody else's.
Okay.
It's that shit. And
all right. Well, technically, the vessel does contain lead, but it's
Technically, yes.
enclosed with stainless steel and should never come in contact with your drink or skin. And this is from Wired magazine that I'm sorry, didn't mean to.
No, but here's the thing that happened. Last year, a viral video posted on TikTok, of course, showed a parent using an at-home lead test kit at the bottom of their child's Stanley
those
bottle.
are trustworthy.
And the test was positive. One at-home lead test kit.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, like, you're talking millions of dollars.
How did he know that
It was? I'm sure it was properly calibrated. Skep, you know.
Well, see, the thing is, I would actually get basically what you're trying to do is you're going to precipitate lead sulfide. That's how they do that test. And it's easy enough to do yourself, and it shows up as bright white.
It does.
Well, the problem is that the ones they're using are either the one from 3M, which are the ones you get for your grocery stores to test regular paint, not the type of paint they use on the outside of thermoses, or they're using the other one, which is the one where you put a liquid on the end of a Q-tip that's in a small kit, and then it turns purple.
Well, here's one sentence I need to get out. Prior to the viral video, anti-lead activist Tamara Rubin posted about Stanley flasks and lead in her blog, Lead Safe Mama. Don't get your health advice from people who talk about material from yoga mats in who is it? Subway bread.
Yeah, Subway breads.
I mean, if you don't want to eat a Subway sandwich, don't eat it because it's crap. That's a good reason to not eat it. If you like Subway, eat it. If you don't like it, don't eat it. But don't worry about it. If people understood what goes into commercially making bread, they would learn to become home bakers. So, either be consistent about it or don't.
In fairness,
what's Assassin saying? I'm sorry.
He's saying there should be no lead anywhere near food. Honey, that's a lovely concept. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, well, the keel of the boat that carries the food has plenty of lead in it otherwise.
Well, the thing is like technically it's not. It's on the other. It's long as you're not doing anything to that container, like busting the internal seal, lead's never getting anywhere near your stuff.
We could just use spent uranium instead, right, Skep?
Yeah.
There's I got your ballast for you right here.
I got news for you. Spent uranium, it's not quite spent.
It's sort of half spent. Go, Skep.
The lead is in there for weight and balance and all that kind of thing, make it feel a certain way. Basically, otherwise the thing would be so light. That's why they put that in there. I believe.
Yep.
The other thing.
Well, hold on, Skep. I think it's actually because of the melting point of it. It's somehow involved in the vacuum formation process.
Yeah,
maybe so. But anyway, neither here nor there. The point is that these things get banged around, tossed around, and if there's a surface that gets damaged, you could have lead touching. Now, what is the? Hold on.
No. I was telling Harry there was an ad popped up. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, and I killed it because annoying ads. I'm not going to subscribe to your stupid magazine, Forbes.
The thing is, you would have to have a lot of repeated, and you could get some. You're not going to get killed by this. What you're going to get is you have an account in your body. It's called your lead account, and that lead account doesn't have withdrawals unless you have an amputation, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Lead, once it enters your body, it's relatively inert, and it just sits around getting in the way of things and causing problems. And it's very heavy and it's very inconvenient. And as it builds up, it becomes more and more toxic. And you never get away. The other thing is it tends to accumulate in fat. And your brain is about 40-50% fat. And it most especially accretes in the frontal lobe, which is where your judgment and ambition and stuff like that is. So lead is bad juju. And my thing on it is, no, it won't kill you, but it will add to your lead account and is therefore bad. I wouldn't touch this stuff.
Yeah, and there are other materials that have similar melting points to lead that you could use. But just for the PR point of it,
osmium comes to mind.
You don't have to. They should just change it because it's just a PR nightmare. Just change it. I'm not saying you need to, but just change it. It's PR poison. Sorry for saying
the issue is that they're like Flave City and Heberman's starting to get a little bit like this too. They're fear mongers. It doesn't matter if Stanley changes it. They'll find a way to still make it seem like the amount of times I've seen bullshit on social media about glyphosate. And it's like, there's literally studies that show that the amount you would have to consume is astronomical, even for people who live like under 600-pound life kind of lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter. They could change everything. They could revolutionize the industry and change everything, and these people would still write it. Because, to be completely honest, it was started by people who make money on their blogs.
Right. Would you like to know? Would you like to hear a one-sentence line from the EPA about glyphosate, which is what you're talking about, glyphosate.
Yeah.
No risks of concern to human health from current uses of glyphosate. Period.
Yep.
Yeah.
They base it on the fact that Europe doesn't use glyphosate. Europe has better food than us. It's like they use a different one, and it's just as bad. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's just a different name, and you're idiots. Like this is one of the bad things about social media is the fact that you give people a bullhorn that should have never been given a bullhorn.
Yeah,
I'm not saying yeah. Well, it's one of those things where it's kind of like it's corporations shouldn't have the only way of getting news out, but at the same time, when this kind of stuff happens, when you have people who are willingly looking for something to demean people's for their over enjoyment, because I do admit these girls are taking it way too effing far. I agree with that, but they're also Swifties, so you're not going to stop them because they're all nuts. So it's one of those things. Instead of just ignoring them, which makes them go away faster, you're going to then make this whole either group of people who aren't going to listen, people who are now going to destroy, air quotes, their Stanleys or something or other. It's just, this is not done for the purity of keeping people alive. This is done for the purpose of making money on their own shit. Because I can guarantee she probably had a list of, these are lead safe ones, and they probably all are Amazon affiliate links, so this way she can make money off of it.
Yeah.
Like, this is how it always goes.
And we don't know whether she's a shark or cunning or just kind of an idiot.
If she's called lead safe mama and she has a blog, she's
probably an Amazon affiliate. So, Sora, you took chemistry, right? A long time ago.
At one point in high school.
So what do you think? What do you think of this, Sora? Okay.
This guy went missing after converting his '98 Ford Explorer into a water hybrid.
A water hybrid? Tell me more.
Oh God, this idiot! I remember seeing this on.
So we can't hear it.
Oh, that's right. Of course you can't hear it. Why not? Okay. So this guy basically took his Ford Explorer because he was getting bad gas mileage, and he came up with this brilliant idea. Why don't I use some of the power that's produced by the alternator and generate hydrogen in jars in my car, in the back of the car, and then feed it into the engine, and you get free energy out of it. Doesn't that sound great?
Yeah.
I know Skep knows what's wrong with this picture. I suspect Serenity does too, but they've been talking and you haven't, Sora. What is wrong with this picture? What's the issue here?
I have this feeling that it's not physically possible to do that.
the thing is, the amount of energy it takes to basically split H2O into H and O is so high that you're not going to increase your mileage. It's just it's a fantasy right up there with dowsing rods.
It's something like equivalent to like doing like a fission bomb kind of thing.
It's not as ridiculous as like cold fusion, but it's
Is it as ridiculous as the guy who puts the copper wire in his bed and then puts it in the dead plug of his wall to ground himself?
Okay, by the way, the title of the title of the section that was Wrangler Star. So the title of this section is Hugs, Wishes, and Unicorn Farts. That's the section in my spreadsheet we're on right now. Hugs, Wishes, and Unicorn Farts. So there's also this one, which I know you guys will love. Hackaday, harvesting electricity from high voltage transmission lines using fences. Let that sink in.
Yes, I know what they're doing. I see that. All you had to do is read me the headline. I know exactly what's going on here. I don't even need to know.
It's this new hack, Sora. What you do is you use the wire fences on your property that run parallel to the high tension lines to harvest in quotes electricity.
I guess you can plant the electricity in the ground. That's what they mean by grounding it, I guess, and it'll grow more electricity because it seems to come from the ground, right?
Like, I don't normally wish pain and hurt on people, but it's like, I wish you all would make yourselves explode, these hackers. Yeah. It's like, good Lord.
That's not a hack. That's theft is what it is. And stupidity.
Yes, it is theft, literally.
Yeah.
If you start drawing current through there, that you will be stealing electricity. But the other thing is that is just wrong and bad. It's the kind of information that has that faint aura of plausibility to the easily deceived.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a social terrorism I really don't approve of.
The Hackaday people should have higher standards. This is not a hack.
Yes, and my free speech part of me says, yeah, but
you
right
should be able to say stupid shit.
And you should be able to say stupid shit. But golly, I wish it was labeled stupid shit so people wouldn't hurt themselves over this.
It's labeled hugs, wishes, and unicorn farts. That's how it's labeled.
Well, I know that's you label it because you're a smart guy and know how to keep yourself safe. I'm talking about the people who fall for this stuff here.
Yeah, this is a terrible idea.
Yeah, it is. God damn. And you're going to have some asshole. Well, I'm going to climb up there and see about them wires. See, maybe I'll run a wire down to the ground. It'll be fine until that wire touches the ground.
You know what you should do, Skep? What would be the greatest idea ever? Don't ever do this, anybody. Climb up there and run, so it doesn't move around. Just put lots and lots of turns of wire around. Just lots of turns. Just effectively,
really good idea.
Effectively make it into a transformer that takes 50,000 volts and turns it into 5 million volts.
5 million quintillion volts.
Yeah. You
Jesus,
first.
The multiplier is pretty high.
Okay, so we're just making fun of people.
Anyway,
so please keep an eye on the chat because I'm multitasking like crazy. So let's just do something. Okay, we're gonna do something heavy, and then we're gonna do something light. Okay. Just a little RIP here. David Mills, Oakland-born, father time of internet, dies at 85, and this is one of these guys who did a thing which everybody here benefits from all the freaking time, and you probably have no idea who this guy is. But he's the guy that created network time protocol.
There we go.
Okay, so atomic clocks connect to the internet.
The time servers,
The time servers, atomic clocks connect to the internet, and then all of your devices get accurate time because of this guy's protocol. All of that sort of, how far am I away from the multiple different sources, and how do I figure out what the right time is? When computers do that, this is the guy you thank for the fact that shit works. David Mills.
Yeah.
He passed away at 85. So he's one of those pioneers that we owe a lot to, but he's kind of unsung compared to like Vince Cerf and guys like that. But in a lot of ways, everybody listening to this benefits from his work multiple times a day without even knowing this guy ever existed. So I just wanted to give him a little bit of a shout out. So
thank you and rest in peace.
Yeah, good guy.
He was he still at University of Delaware?
Gosh, no, I saw let's see, I read through this earlier last week, sorry.
That's okay. This is you and I can talk about this.
Delaware, he taught at University of Delaware, where he taught for decades until his retirement in 2008.
Yeah, well, he was in Delaware for a long time. I just wondered if he was still there. I wondered, or if he retired. I just lost track of the guy years ago.
But like NTP and the things that have descended from it, people just stuff. Yeah, so much stuff would not work if it wasn't for this guy.
All the scheduling stuff. Oh my God!
But I mean, it wasn't that long ago that you had to get a radio, and then the big atomic clocks would actually put out audible signals on radio bands, and people would use that to sort of set their clocks. And having accurate time without an atomic clock was a function of getting 3 chronometers and then taking the value of 2 of them that agreed. And you had to put it in a special case. It was humidity controlled and no magnetism, and it had gimbals, and it's how we conquered the world. But having accurate time means you can do things like GPS. This stuff is actually super important. It's hard to understate how important this guy's contribution was and how little most people know about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for pointing it out.
Respect.
Good job. Much respect.
Let's look at something. Let's see. What do we want to go to?
More than the entire rap industry ever has done. This one man.
Well, he didn't popularize purple drinks, so Okay,
you know what I'm saying.
This is in the section I call "Wait, What." Pigeon accused of being Chinese spy released by police after months in bird lockup.
Let the pigeon go, falsely accused.
Yeah. Indian police cleared a suspected Chinese spy pigeon after 8 months detention and have released it into the wild.
Well, of course, it was India.
The pigeon's ordeal began in May when it was captured near a port in Mumbai with 2 rings tied to its leg carrying words that looked like Chinese.
This is so
Wait,
Indian.
Fancy pigeon that escaped.
Wait, do you mean the homing pigeon marking tags that they all have to wear?
Yes.
Homing pigeon? Oh my
Police
God.
suspected it was involved in espionage and took it in, later sending it to Mumbai's Shemp Hospital for animals. It turned out the pigeon was an open water racing bird from Taiwan that had escaped and made its way to India.
Oh.
Well, it probably got confused and took the wrong air current, but yeah.
But this confuses me. Why did the Indian police think that this pigeon was involved in espionage? and what form would pigeon espionage take?
You know, if you spend any time reading the English press, the English language press, of which there is substantial stuff in India, you realize this story is so Indian it hurts. Yeah. This is just, I totally can see how this could happen. It is totally in keeping with the earnest ignorance that you find outside the big metropolitan areas. Just you go 10 miles outside Mumbai city limits and people are mystified by gravity and electricity. Not kidding. I've talked with many of my Indian friends about that. I've never been there, but I understand that the difference between rural and urban India is substantial in terms of the sophistication of the people. I mean it is light years apart.
I mean, it can't be that different. The hospital kept him for 10 months.
Yeah. Well, this is not the first time it's happened before. So it says in 2020, police in Indian-controlled Kashmir released a pigeon belonging to a Pakistani fisherman after an investigation found that the bird, which had flown across the heavily militarized border between the nuclear-armed countries, was not a spy. Yeah. In 2016, another pigeon in 2016 was taken into custody after it was found with a note that threatened Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
A spy pigeon is such a stupid notion. That's like entertaining the notion that somebody would spend a balloon that was a spy or something.
Well, the balloon can carry cameras. The pigeon's just sort of wandering around being a pigeon.
Pigeons can carry cameras.
That's like thinking a snake's a spy. Like what? Like, oh, it slithered at me.
Right.
Oh, look at the tongue. The tongue's evil. Like,
it hissed in a different accent.
Yeah. Like a 5-second ultrasound will tell you that this. Now, to be fair, here in the States, when they have birds of prey, which are bigger than pigeons, released, they will sometimes put tracking vests on them, which do have cameras. So it is possible to use a bird to do stuff, just not a pigeon. As someone who owned a pigeon for like 15 years, I love them. They're dumber than a bag of rocks. And yet, like, you can train them for the most part, but you can't train them that well. It's just what they just gotta what?
You can train them to do pigeon things, not espionage things.
Like, I can tell you that pigeon was definitely in its tiny little pea brain that didn't think of much. It was probably really, really pissed that it took the wrong air current from Taiwan away from its nice warm bed and its food.
Okay. So, how about this? This is a terrible story. Now, I want to point out this is not in the Bay Area. This was in Wichita, Kansas. This took place. So you don't get to blame California this time, okay? Jackie Robinson statue stolen. Rewards offered for information return.
What makes a statue? Because it depends on how impressed I'm going to be.
Well, they had a picture here previously, but they seem to have moved it away. They actually sawed it off at the feet. So this huge cast statue of Jackie Robinson, they basically just sawed it off at the feet and ran away with it.
Of course.
That's pretty terrible.
The materials.
I mean, I don't really care about sports ball, but Jackie Robinson is a historic figure. And doing this just so you can make a little bit of money at the metal recyclers seems pretty terrible.
I'm amazed no one's tried to turn it into a race thing.
That's next, probably. Eventually.
Would it be a race thing if the people who stole it were of the same color as Jackie Robinson? Just
Harry, has that ever stopped them?
Yeah. It was, yeah.
And it's like, oh, black people did it. Well, the white people forced them to do it. And you just shut up.
Yeah, if it was a raven or a crow, that would have been scary. Ravens are pretty cool.
Oh yeah, they're intelligent as hell.
I had an encounter with a raven a few years ago where I was a few feet from one. I just walked out a door and this stupid thing was on a railing in a courtyard, kind of an atrium sort of thing. And I'm like, huh, that's a raven. And I just sort of stood there very still and looked at it, and it looked back at me. You know, it's like,
Say hello?
And
I did say hello, but it you know, we had like an understanding, you know, okay, this is fine, but you didn't get the sense that it was an empty vessel. I look at a pigeon and I think that's a vegetable with feathers. There's nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And ravens have brains.
Ravens have brains. They're awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
They don't
parrots.
have souls.
Yeah.
Parrots would be scary too. As long as you didn't let them be cracked out. Parrots would be terrifying too if they were spies.
Yeah.
Because then they would talk.
Yeah. Okay, so that's terrible, right? That's a thing that people should definitely not do. Not any statues, honestly, but certainly not a statue of Jackie Robinson. Did I mention this last week? Missouri senator files rule change to bring back dueling.
No.
Yes.
I did
don't
mention it.
remember
One no, one yes. Okay.
Okay.
And
Well, I wasn't
wasn't
entirely sure, but Skep hasn't seen it. Yeah, there have been. There's a Missouri senator who's trying to make dueling legal again.
As long as they do it in a dueling safe area and they're only hurting each other, go to town, ladies and gentlemen.
Have a good
Do you
time.
love
think,
this.
Serenity, do you think they should be able to duel to the death?
Wouldn't be much
I
of
mean,
a
if both
duel
parties are
otherwise.
consenting, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my stance. It's like, you want to do this shit? Everybody signs a paper. Families are notified and signed a paper too, saying we're not going to sue because of wrongful death.
So that
Go to
will be legal homicide.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're legalizing a bunch of other homicides. So
Right. Absolutely.
Well,
Really,
with it.
more of a legalized murder-suicide, depending on, you know, we'll fill in the names of the different roles later when we're done. It's done.
Oh my God, they should do that in
if
Canada.
you make it legal, it's not murder.
Yep.
It's a homicide, but it isn't murder.
Yeah.
As long as it's stipulated that no if the parties consent, no family member or loved one or anyone else can come after the state for wrongful death.
I think in law you would find that there is some consent the law says you cannot legally give, and that's the problem.
Then they're fucked. So that's what makes it hard with the dueling thing. Is like,
Well, you can do. How about dueling? But you can only use Nerf guns.
That's legal now.
Ooh, what about the tasers? You can electrocute each other. Just use tasers.
Yeah,
They're actually
but then
potentially
what if
lethal.
someone has
Yeah.
so many cards and that actually kills them?
Yeah. I think that W.C. Fields' idea was the right one. Just give them socks full of cow manure and let them just have at it.
Butter or cow manure. Just
I like the squirt guns full of hydrofluoric acid.
No,
It
not
still
hydrofluoric
resonates with
acid.
me. Because they're plastic, it won't eat them. It won't eat the squirt gun.
Do you know what happens to the
It'll
human
eat
heart when you
flesh.
get contact with too much hydrofluoric acid, Skep?
Well, yes, I do understand fluorine, chlorine.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No cardiac
substitution.
signaling for
Yes,
you.
I know how that works.
Here.
Yeah, sorry, we're fluorine. We attach real quickly, and we never away,
let go.
Bye bye.
Yeah, we're the overly attached girlfriend to chlorine, to
That's right.
calcium.
Sodium transport. Sorry, not going to happen. That means your heart can't contract. Bye bye.
Yeah, and there's nothing
done.
we can do about it.
There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. You know, you just can't. If you get fluorine inside, you're done.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember. I can't remember if we skipped this one, Sora. Tell me, novelist wins award, then reveals she used Chat GPT.
No, I don't
Okay.
remember this one.
Okay, the latest
I've heard about this.
the latest
but
recipient of one of Japan's most prestigious literary awards, the Akutagawa Prize, has admitted she used AI to write parts of her novel, The Times Report. Now, the thing is that her novel is actually about things like AI and it causing problems for society and all that sort of stuff. That's sort of the excuse. So it's like art imitates life. So the novel takes place in an alternative future in which AI has become a central part of human life. It follows an architect who helped build a high-rise tower in Shinjuku as a cushy place for criminals to be housed. Kuden explores her character's discomfort with society's tolerance of these criminals, as well as the persuasiveness of generative AI. So, it's one of those artist things where we're going to talk about this being dysfunctional, and to prove a point, we're going to use the technology that we're talking about. So, okay.
So like,
it's one of those. It depends on how many parts, what parts it wrote. Like it's going to depend.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's kind of like.
It's about 5% of the book.
That's not nothing. There's literally editors who will contribute that much to a book when it comes to novels being written. So it doing that minimal amount, I don't give a crap.
Yeah, I mean, she's basically flexible enough to give herself a reach around. that's what's happening here.
Mind you, if it's the award, I think it is. That word is so mother effing. Yeah, it's the Akutagawa.
Yeah,
that one's so mother effing pretentious, and no good piece of literature has ever come out of that award, in my personal opinion. Because I've tried to read all the winners of it, and it's not good.
Do you really?
A lot of them get translated to English, and I'm always curious about what other countries
that is so cool.
made parties of literary experts, I'm using air quotes, think is good, because it kind of tells you where things are in their own little society sometimes.
What award is that?
The Akutagawa, Akutagawa.
Weeb.
Yep, damn right. I also read the Korean one. I can't remember the name of the Korean one off the top of my head. I think Taiwan has one too.
Okay, I hate to admit this, but I read recently 4 volumes of a Korean light novel because I was annoyed and I didn't want to wait. To see how things were going. And I was really thrown aback until I realized it's like, okay, this is annoying because all the names sound the same. Because so many of the stupid... I'm sorry, but to my uneducated ears, a whole, 30 or 40 Korean names all just, okay, who the hell are these people? I can't keep track.
They're just all named Pak.
Yeah, pretty much. And then the other part was, I was like, man, I get the feeling this author really doesn't like Japanese people. And then I eventually figured out that it was a Korean thing.
Oh, yeah. No, no. Koreans hate Japanese. Koreans hate Chinese.
I noticed.
The whole thing.
The Japanese people will, in their stuff, they'll make fun of the Americans because reasons, right? And then, but the Korean thing, they seemed much more deferential to the Americans and hated the Japanese.
Korea likes them. Japan likes America, but we've been friends.
They
with Japan
love hate America. We're frenemies practically.
We're frenemies. They don't respect America.
Korea still sees us as friends, because let's face facts. Most of their money for K-pop comes from the West. It doesn't come from Korea.
And so they make a lot of money off the U.S. My friend.
And Samsung, because of everybody's hate for Apple, because Samsung's just as bad as Apple. Anybody who tells you it's not is lying through their fucking
because
teeth.
It's people.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though. Is Samsung sells really well in the West, so that once again they have to kind of behave themselves a little bit with the West. They still steal so much crap, if you go through, because I had friends who taught in Seoul for a while, they steal so much. They have fake Apple stores, they have fake North Face. Want to know what the name of the fake North Face was?
What is it?
Blackface.
Oh no!
What is it? What is it?
Blackface. It was called Blackface.
Nice.
I think it's gone now, but it was called Blackface. It was on signage.
No.
That sounds amazing.
But the problem with
do they put on little
names,
shows?
God, I hope not. But the K-pop artists do. But anyway.
Yeah.
But no, Korean. I have a really hard time with Korean manhwas because their names are all too similar. Japan, their name in China and Taiwan, their names are at least different. But Korea, they all have the same
It's maddening. It's absolutely maddening to a non-Korean person to read this thing. I mean, it's a good story. I wouldn't have read 4 volumes of it. But anyway, Assassin's saying only 5% clickbait. Well, basically all news these days is clickbait. Yeah. The whole point of any of this is to get me to click on it. I actually saw a piece of obvious clickbait yesterday. And I thought to myself, I wonder how long they can milk this for. It wasn't one of those things where you click next. It was just this article that scrolled and scrolled and scrolled. And I wasn't hooked in the story. It was supposedly some story about a principal at elementary school suspends a fourth grader, and then she storms out of his office saying, you don't know who I know or who I whatever. And it just goes on and on and on. I'm just scrolling going, wow, did they use AI to generate this, or does somebody just have diarrhea of the fingers? How can they say nothing for so long? And I was just scrolling to the end of it. Do you ever even find out what the basis of the story was? No. It was just like 30 pages of nothing. I'm like, wow. I mean, that kind of takes a skill, doesn't it? To say nothing for 30 pages?
It depends, though. If they used AI to do it, no. If they did it themselves, that's impressive.
It's astonishing. But should there be any generative AI in a novel that a person writes? It's like if I buy a really well-made piece of furniture, like I'm spending thousands of dollars for something that's supposed to be tongue and groove, and I find that there's like hidden nails and screws in there that are not supposed to be there, I'm going to be annoyed. And that's, maybe I'm just being too idealistic and I don't get it. I'm totally willing to admit that. But I don't think there should be any % of generative AI in something like this.
Well, the thing is like, once again, as with everything, this is up to the consumer to decide.
Yeah.
Like, I have no intention of reading her novel because it sounds pretentious as hell, because when the translated title is the Tokyo Tower of Sympathy, I'm not reading it.
It's
but Serenity. if there's a general assumption that novelists actually write their own stuff, that they don't sit down and say, okay, write me a thing that, Harry and Sally do this and this and this, and I need them to do this, the character arc is this, please write that novel. That's an expectation that people have, that it's hard to counter that whole expectation for this one particular counterexample. Hey, 5% of this is by AI. You should know that. Nobody's expecting that. My point is that makes it seem more dishonest to me as I think about this. It's kind of a funny thing to think about, but I feel like any reliance, then it should have on the front of the cover that says, I used AI to write part of this book.
Caution may contain bits of AI.
Of really annoying doggerel, or whatever, or really great copy, if the AI does a good job. But in any case, it's not the author's work.
The issue is...
Is it the author's work?
Well, no. But this is the thing, though. One, hold on. There's a lot of novels out there that are written by ghostwriters that are not the author who's on the front covers. So, by that standard, those people shouldn't exist.
So it would be okay to have the whole thing done by AI.
No, that's not what I'm saying, Skep.
Well, that's what a ghostwriter does. What
I'm getting at is, most of the literary community, at least for the last 50 years, is smoke and mirrors and BS. There's a lot of stuff that are written by, maybe not fully by a ghostwriter, but are partially written because the author is putting too many books out. There are stuff that is completely redone by editors that makes the novel better and completely changes things.
Yeah.
Do I think it needs to be stated on the cover? Yes, it does. But I also don't think ghostwriters should be... human being ghostwriters should exist, but they do, because
they should be on the cover too. They should be on the cover too.
It kind of defeats the purpose of doing. It's like, just don't put authors' names on books. But it's one of those things.
No, we have to put a pin in this. We have to put a pin in this.
Right,
well, okay, no, but the answer to why I went for this, even though it's obviously clickbait, is because it started a conversation. That's all I needed to do.
Okay.
It started a conversation to the point where I had to interrupt it so that I can introduce Kefki. Hi, Kefki.
Hello.
Kefki. Hey, Kefki.
See, of all the reasons to interrupt you, Skep, isn't interrupting Kefki one of the better ones?
Absolutely. It's a delightful one.
So, how long do we have you for? Do you just want to maybe plug something, or do you want to stick around?
Oh, no, I can stick around. I stick around.
Do you want to plug something?
So, do you have a show coming up or anything?
Is there anything coming up that you might want to talk about that's happening in the next 24 hours?
Nudge, nudge.
Just to throw that out.
No, man, I don't know what you're talking about. Both y'all crazy.
Is it tomorrow, perhaps?
There's something on a
Oh,
Sunday
tomorrow, yes,
evening at
yes.
around 9:30 Central.
What do you have planned? What do you have planned for tomorrow, Kefki? I think
I'm going to eat pizza. I'm sorry.
I think the
being an
audio
ass
radiance
hat.
would
I'm
like to
sorry.
know.
I'm going to be hosting Minions of the Zoo tomorrow
Tomorrow,
night
a
at
Kefki
9:30
show.
p.m.
Will it be anything like this show? No, don't. That's a
No, it
rhetorical
won't
question.
be good like this show.
No,
It's
it'll
just-
be
it's
all
just-
ferrets with hats and animals, and
Yeah.
it's just going to
Oh
be.
my God,
Yeah, all-
that's
Will there be a
genius.
dancing bear?
Dancing
Oh
ferret.
my God, that's genius. I need a notebook. You keep giving me ideas.
Okay.
Like
Great.
a Busby Berkeley show of ferrets,
Yeah.
I need to have
leaping off
dancing
into the
ferrets now.
swimming pool in a dance routine.
Kefki, did you ever catch any of the shows when I was at war with a rat that I nicknamed Nigel? Did you ever see any of those?
No.
Okay,
Oh,
so
yes.
yeah.
Yes, how was Nigel?
dead,
How was the
very
baby
dead, very dead.
Oh,
Thankfully.
God.
I won.
We watched it. Well, not fully
It was
die on
amazing.
stream, but we watched it.
It was a struggle, and honestly, I
Yeah.
feel it was the best thing I ever put out. The life and death struggle of a small rodent was way more entertaining than anything I can put together.
So Nigel was your arch nemesis.
So here's what you do: you
Or
get
your
yourself
origin story.
like a kiddie pool, like with a bunch of ferrets in it. Just line up some ferrets and just put the camera on that. And that could be.
Oh, that
and
would
while
be-
you talk, just show video of your ferrets running around. I promise it'll actually do really well.
You know what though?
Ferret cam.
If I could, I would. Yeah, I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding you.
Ferret
I was
cam.
filming my ferrets.
just
make
ferret
sure
cam.
you put dry macaroni
Yeah.
on the bottom of it too. Just let the
I just
little
need
guys
some
run
ferrets
Yeah.
at the kiddie pool
Yep.
and balls.
Just don't
And a
feed them
camera.
for like a day so that they'll do
Dock
tricks
those
for
kind
scraps.
load.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Harry,
Yes,
Don't be gross.
starve them.
Battle to the death, ferret
Make
battle
it a
to the
Russian
death.
circus.
Have you seen ferrets
Give him a ferret
play fight?
tontine.
It looks like a battle to the death. It looks like they're trying to kill each other. They just playing most of the time. They just playing, but it looks like they're trying to murder each other.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're grabbing their siblings and dragging them to stash them.
Nice. So tomorrow, Kefki will be your host. She'll be the new host of the Sunday show going forward until you decide you don't want to do it anymore. And yeah. And so that'll be fun for everybody because it'll be so completely unlike tonight that it'll be the palate cleanser for the end of your week. Ferret combat.
A gremlin.
Or
Johnny.
whatever it is you're going to do.
gremlin.
Whatever it is you're going to do. I don't know what your
yes,
format's
yes,
going to be.
Yes, it's going to be nothing like this show. It will not be organized. It will
Okay.
not be nice.
There won't be a spreadsheet.
Is it going to
There
be
won't be spreadsheet.
all
Okay.
gamer, or will it be conversation, or do you have a plan?
I am not sure. I think maybe because it is my first show, we might just hang out and talk about interesting or silly things.
How about
silly
a barbecue
things.
trip report? That would be good. Where you
There
go
you
around
go.
to different barbecue places, like Interstate Barbecue, and then
Harry.
tell people about how good it is.
let it go.
Oh God, no,
Put the stick down. The horse is dead.
no.
Look, it is a mission to get to the interstate barbecue. I'm going to do it one
At
day.
this place, I've put it on my bucket list. Just
Well, yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna make Lodi learn how to drive just to get to the interstate barbecue.
Interstate barbecue is good. What do you mean? What's wrong with interstate
It's great.
barbecue?
Nothing is.
It's
scary.
amazing sounding.
It is amazing. I've been.
The first time.
Yeah.
He wants to live through Kefki, so he's like, Kefki, go.
I've
Kefki, go.
actually mail ordered a
go.
bunch of stuff from Interstate, and a branch
Why am I
of
not
a person who's a member of that family has a place in L.A., and I was able to get my hands on some of that stuff. So there's one of the Neelys is
go.
down in L.A. I mean, I didn't go to L.A. because I don't do that, but I was able to get some of the barbecue from there.
Yeah.
All right. So what were we doing? We were talking about.
We're going on to the
books.
next topic.
Neely, that was.
Yeah,
the
we're
guy's
going to the
name.
next topic. So we can make this relatively short, or we can go into it in more depth. We've got enough time. We don't have to do this super long thing. But the LA Times has kind of become more and more terrible. And I was wondering to myself, why is the LA Times becoming more and more terrible? So we're getting articles from the LA Times editor implores ex-Californians to stop insulting their state on the way out. You should be able to do
No.
whatever the hell you want. You're leaving for a reason. Why is the LA Times saying this? So why is the LA Times turned into such a giant piece of shit? So,
Turned into.
no, it used to be a decent paper a long time ago, but it hasn't been
back
for
in the
several years.
60s?
No, even sooner than that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or more recently than that. The issue was revealed to me by a guy who was a guest on Adam Carolla's show, and I said, that sounds terrible. I should probably look into this. The guy who owns the LA Times has essentially put a bunch of members of his family in to run the thing. He's owned sports teams and all kinds of stuff. He's got billions and billions of dollars. He doesn't need to care about all this stuff.
Shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves.
Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong, a biotech magnate turned publisher dilettante. Okay, so he doesn't really have to care that much about whether the paper makes money or not. It's not really going to affect him at the end of the day. But his daughter is one of those champagne socialist bullshit artists. And she is in there essentially. He hired a pretty good editor to come in. Even went so far as to say, look, I'll pay you a ton of money. I'll even put you up at one of my houses. You just come here and fix my paper. Well, the daughter drove him out. And she's essentially controlling who the paper recommends, when they give recommendations for elections. The LA Times is extremely influential. So all except for one of the people that they have suggested in the last few years has won an office in the Southern California area. So this one guy, because of his rich, stupid daughter, it appears that she's largely the nucleus that's ruining things. Now, recently, one of the other family members who has a much better head for business has said, no, maybe we shouldn't lose $50 million a year on a vanity project. And they ended up laying a bunch of people off. And they're trying to turn it back into a real business. But the LA Times is largely a mess because the guy who runs the thing doesn't really have to worry about market forces because he's just so rich that he doesn't care. And it makes his daughter happy to cause trouble. This is not a good state of affairs because there isn't really another major paper down there to compete against them. There've been so much consolidation in the news industry, and it's under so much pressure from other types of media that you're just sort of stuck with this barnacle on the backside of LA because of what's been going on. Sorry. Any thoughts on the Citizen Kane-ness of the LA Times?
Well, I mean...
This will make a good movie.
Oh, it's going to make a great movie someday.
I understand where you're coming from, Harry, but sometimes shit's got to fail.
Yeah.
Well,
It's sad, but...
media, et cetera, I don't know.
Well, it's one of those things that anyone who knows anything about kids of super rich people, she's never going to learn. It doesn't matter if it fails. She'll just move on to the next thing.
She still has the connection, so she's not going to fall on her butt.
Yeah. So she's just going to move on to the next thing. So even if it does fail, nothing's going to happen. Father won't do anything because most likely he's too busy running around with his mistress. Mm-hmm. It's just... It doesn't matter because he won't discipline her. She doesn't have enough of a clue to understand that she's doing something stupid because all she cares about is control. It's sad. It's got to fail, but I don't have a problem with billionaires. It's when they start being like this, where it's like, oh, it's just a vanity project. I don't care if it fails. It's like, well,
would you
more than that? But
would you like a palate cleanser?
Nepotism is not the answer. Wait,
I think you want a palate cleanser, don't you? I feel like we need a palate cleanser.
Is it a ferret or an otter?
Let's see. Do I have an animal palate cleanser? Sort of. But not really.
Away.
Not really.
If he makes that laugh, it's probably being turned into food.
Okay, so there's this game that people have been talking about. I think I call it Pal World.
Pal World. Yeah.
Okay, so I stumbled across this. Let's see if this will actually work the way it did when I tried it before the show. Let's see. These weird critters have the blues. That's what I wrote. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
This is beautiful.
It's like watching these animals be sad.
Yep, they're sad. They get slaughtered. They're enslaved.
Oh, God.
Right.
Yep.
So they're just shooting them and causing trouble.
You got
Of course, you can't hear the blues music that's playing. I don't know if chat can hear it, but I love watching all these animals get tortured. It's pretty cool.
No! This player needs to be killed.
Yeah. So this
Stop
is Pal
hurting
World. Is that what
animals.
I'm looking at?
Yeah, it's Pal World. Yeah.
Okay. How about this for a palate cleanser? What do you think of this, Skep? Do you want one of these? Home Depot offers stainless steel Braveheart sword. Fans react in reviews.
Hey, man.
Don't
Is
you
it
want
any
to? I mean,
good?
don't you want to go to?
Home
Does it need to be?
Depot?
Don't you want to buy a sword at Home Depot?
Home
Sounds
Depot?
great. I would love for them to stock swords. I think that's excellent.
Braveheart fans and sword shoppers alike can purchase the item when in stock for about $50.
Oh, that's going to be that stainless surgical.
Yeah,
that
don't you want to
surgical
buy a
steel
sword?
crap that's no.
Don't you want? I mean, you're not going to actually use it for real combat.
Well, no, but since it's Home Depot, aren't you supposed to use it to chop your vegetables or something?
Probably. I want to go to Home Depot and buy a sword. Okay, I know this is going to make Sora so happy. Are you still with us, Sora?
I'm here.
A smiling sun.
Oh my God, it's precious.
Nice.
Is that real?
Yeah.
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 It's so cute. It's so cute.
Aw.
Absolutely. Those are his
Baby,
real
look,
eyes,
look,
and
look.
that's his little face.
He's making
That's
a
his
little
mouth.
smile. Little smile.
Yeah, that's how he
comes
eats
for
is through that mouth.
destruction.
That's how he sees.
It comes for our destruction.
Yeah.
Come on, Skep. You know that before it can eat you, you'll burn to pieces.
Okay.
You'll be incinerated.
Incinerated.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's the
Thank
one
you,
doing the
sir.
eating, but you're the one with heartburn. I see.
Yeah. Good times.
Is it heartburn though if your body's already fully gone before you feel it?
Can we criticize? Can we criticize the British now?
Oh, absolutely. Go for it.
Always.
Okay. UK law would ban Apple security updates across the world in an unprecedented overreach.
Why?
What? Why? I like
Several
my
amendments to
security
the
updates.
UK's Investigative Powers Act have been proposed. One would require Apple and other companies to notify UK officials of any update they plan to make that could restrict the UK government's access to data, including any updates impacting users outside the UK.
Fuck you.
I shit you not. They
No.
basically
You're
want
being-
keep it insecure. That's the way we like it.
No.
Wait.
No.
Wait. So, if you want to do that to your own people, you voted in. There's nothing I can do. Why are you coming for people outside the UK?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they like spying
Can't do
on
that
places
to us.
outside
We're
the
merc
UK.
fuck yeah. Wait.
And they won't be able to spy as easily on the bad people if the bad people have access to good security.
It. Okay.
Okay,
the-
UK, you're turning into the EU. Stop it.
Yeah, there's a reason you left. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Say
the
we left.
EU was pulling this horse shit too. Like,
Yeah,
cut
so
it the fuck out.
Apple has criticized the move, noting that it would give the UK unprecedented power and would allow it to veto privacy and security updates. In a statement from Apple, the company said, "We are deeply concerned that proposed amendments to the IPA now before Parliament place users' privacy and security at risk." You think? Yeah, this is terrible law, poorly written, and they should just stop.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
They should stop. I
Yeah.
think all the people that thought of this should have
Be removed
their
from
tea
office.
microwaved.
Yeah.
Ha ha! I
And-
know
and,
I went that far.
And Skep, we're not going to talk about Bill Clinton and the Clipper chip. We're just going to set that aside for now. But you remember that thing, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's just make computers not secure because it would be so convenient for the government if computers all sucked more than they do. Well, okay, speaking of tea, this is actually in the palate cleanser section. Drinking tea every day delays biological aging and extends lifespan. Now, the reason it's a palate cleanser is because I like this article because it validates something I do anyway every day. There's nothing better. I mean, I don't need to look at this critically. I don't want to because it makes me happy to read that headline and not think about it too much. So
And that's all. So is that all we're doing? Just
that's
the
all we're
headline?
doing. We're
Tea
just
every
going,
day.
that sounds fantastic. Harry,
Could
you
I-
should keep
Yes.
drinking tea every day.
Yes, tea is great. I drink tea with the ice. And
Yeah.
cold, the right way to drink it.
But you put
cold,
sugar in it.
cold, all you British people. Oh, sorry.
What were you going to say, Skep?
Hell, I forgot what I was thinking about. Never mind.
It's from
Sorry,
earth.com. Nature, Science, Life.
I know what I was going to ask.
yeah.
Is this for the like pico tea or is this for
Black tea.
Black tea. So it has to be black tea for the health benefit.
Black
Well, it probably
tea.
doesn't have to be, but the oxidation of the tea to make it black does change the extremely complicated chemical structure of the tea.
Yeah, the chemistry difference. Well, you're not kidding.
Yeah.
The chemistry difference between like the black tea that you're talking about and the what is called herbal tea. Herbal tea can be all over the place. You don't even know what's in that practically. And
Really?
yeah, well, you can call anything herbal tea basically, or an herbal blend, herbal hot drink blend. You see that in some of these bulk places where you buy things in bulk. Anyway, I didn't mean to get. I just wondered what the health benefits. So it's got to be black tea.
It's got to be Camellia sinensis, or I mispronounce these things all the time. And what they're specifically talking about is the stuff that's been oxidized to turn it black. Now, tea. Right. I mean, lots of things contain lots of things. So you can say, well, okay, much like you say, well, there's this chemical in the bread that's found in the manufacture of yoga mats. Okay. There's chemicals in tea that have all kinds of interesting properties, which isn't to say that if you consume that beverage in total and use it in vivo, that you're going to get a particular reaction, just because there are antioxidants that you can isolate in the lab. It's like saying that red wine is going to make your heart stronger. Well, that's probably not right. But if you want to take resveratrol and get your exercise and eat well, yeah, that might be a good idea. Can't say if it is or isn't. Talk to your doctor. But it's complicated to Tim Pool it.
Regular black tea, like you said, it was the Camellia sensis.
Camellia. It's actually a Camellia sinensis, I think.
Sensis. Yes. So that's regular, like iced tea stuff. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah. Well, the stuff that's actually tea. What Skep, when he was talking about you could make a tea out of things, isn't necessarily tea. Some people would call it tea. Other people technically would call it a tisane or something else. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Nerd.
Sorry.
I have books on this topic, actually.
I know. Yeah, I know you're a legitimate, no fooling, if not expert.
I've actually done work for the tea industry.
I knew that you had that in your
Harry
background.
worked for Big T.
Yeah. No, I've actually done consulting for some big tea companies. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I had to get some domain knowledge. Anyway, this isn't really, it's supposed to be about me. But yes, I like this study because it validates a choice that I've already made and continue to make. So I'm going to just accept this uncritically and move on to the next thing. All right. Okay. So I guess somebody put a Neuralink chip in somebody's brain. They actually went ahead and those mad bastards and put one in there. I'm not going to talk about that, but I did like this meme.
Oh, God, yeah. It'll fucking happen. Yep.
Suddenly the future doesn't look so bad.
Everybody get rickrolled.
All right. Let's see. What were we talking about? Oh, well, we have a number of topics. We can talk about what I call modern problems. We can talk about computing. We can talk about science and technology. We can talk about entertainment. There's politics, but let's just ignore that because it's annoying, and I don't want to talk about insurance. So which of these things sounds good to you folks? What would you like where would you like to go?
What was that? The modern problems?
Modern problems.
Yeah, modern problems.
Okay. Let's see. So University of California at Santa Cruz plans to scrap housing priority process for lottery, raises alarm among students. I know this girl really likes the fact that she gets preferred placement for housing on campus. She doesn't like the idea that of the many applicants that are more than the number of available slots, that they should have something as gauche as a lottery. Why
does she get the preferred spot?
Oh, it's something to do with her chromosomes or something. I don't remember what it was. Let's see. In one of the least affordable housing markets in the country, this priority selection process brought a sense of security to students like first-year Esmeralda Hurtado that they were likely to secure another bed on campus the following year. For Hurtado, it was a dream to be admitted and get a spot in Merrill College. But last week, the university announced that starting next school year, it will scrap its priority system for a lottery that selects returning students at random for one of UCSC's roughly 9,200 on-campus beds. A first-generation low-income student, Hurtado qualified for educational opportunity programs that provided students with academic blah, 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 blah. God, these people who talk about other people's privilege sure have a lot of privilege.
Yes.
Well, I mean, but if she's actually low income though, like
Yeah.
But the cloth of which she is wearing around her shoulders makes me not like her.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Tostado
her family
sounds like she's not.
It was
her
the
family are
pointed
low
choice
income.
for that photo, isn't it?
But she could. But the point is, she's a grown ass adult now, and she can take out loans just like any other person. She can get a part time
Or
job.
get a job.
She can
The
get a
thing
part time
is
job.
that I'm not quite understanding. So in a lot of places, from what I know here, if you're so first year students get dips.
Mm-hmm.
So you're entering to the school year and you are applying for housing. They will provide that to the first years, and then they go down the next year. So the second, whatever.
With a lot of American universities, there is housing specifically for first years.
And some will even require that you live on campus first year.
Like the university near where I live, it's the your freshman and your sophomore year, you're required to live on campus unless you are from the local area.
Yeah.
Why are you required though?
Yeah,
So
that's
that you don't miss school?
It's to get more get more money from the government, I think. But no.
Oh.
It's to basically turn you into a student of the school instead of somebody who just shows up there for classes. It's not like what is it? It's not like boot camp type of thing. It's not beasting or anything crazy like that. But there's a lot of reasons why you might want people to do that. I don't necessarily agree with them.
But anyway, usually most universities here in the States, they have for specifically first years. So they are not probably going to be put as part of this lottery. It's the other housing that's going to be the part of the lottery. That's what my school would do, because we have dorms that are specifically for first and second years here at the local university. And then all the other dorms are open to everybody else.
She just wants to be locked in.
She wants a guaranteed spot, but it's one of those things where it's kind of like, unless her low-income family lives in another country or there's an abuse situation, live at home.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I have visited the fine campus at UCSC, and it is a pretty unique place. And she specifically wants to be in Merrill College, which is a pretty nice thing. I'm trying to remember what their emphasis is, but yeah, I mean, I can see why she wants to go there. And I mean, I guess it's good that she wants to go there and learn, but she may not get to constantly carry this sort of sense of entitlement because she comes from low income for the rest of her life. She's an adult. Her parents aren't paying for this sort of stuff. She can, like I said, she can get grants, she can get loans, she can take out a part-time job. There's all sorts of things that are available to her. And at a certain point, when does because I could see maybe for the first year trying to help them get in to balance things out, but it's got to stop at some point. Does it stop like after they finish undergraduate studies? I don't know. I'm just sort of thinking out loud. It just annoys me.
It's supposed to prepare them for the real world, right? Ain't nobody going to be holding your damn hand out in the real world.
Now,
like
Johnny Blaze
that.
is saying, how old is she? So that would basically make her probably 19.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. This
Maybe
is
20.
Merrill College at the University of California, Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
The core course is called Cultural Identities and Global Consciousness. It's one quarter long, and this is like its academic emphasis is on developing world and cultural studies. Its freshman core courses include readings by authors from Cuba, Morocco, inner city Los Angeles, and mostly Darfur.
I think maybe she should just drop out of university and go work at a copy shop now.
Seriously?
Yeah. In particular, it houses many faculties in Spanish language and Latin American Latino studies, but also the Latin American Latino studies academic offices and the Casa Latina Library Resource Center housed in the Merrill academic buildings. Yeah, this is politics and maybe some legal stuff.
Yeah, so let me tell you, I've actually recruited people from UC Santa Cruz graduates.
Yeah,
and in my professional career, and the ones that come out of the astronomy program and the natural sciences and computer sciences are very good typically.
Oh yeah,
but all these other morons that come from some of the other colleges there at the university should just be avoided. She should just go work at a coffee shop. No, I'm just kidding. She should do whatever the hell she wants to do, but I think she needs to stop whining and start taking responsibility for her own stuff.
Well, once again, considering the cloth she's wearing, they're not exactly known for taking responsibility.
Is that like a Yasser Arafat kind of thing she's got going on? I don't know what is that cloth?
Yeah. That
called a keffy.
Yeah.
Okay. But not a kefki. That's a different
sorry.
thing.
I'll mute it. I'll take a bite of pizza. What?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Okay, enough of this. So, Skep, this is largely for you. We don't need to say a lot about this. This headline is one of the dumbest things I've ever read. California tech founders are charging thousands of dollars a call and getting buyers. Intro promises access to experts, but lets them pick the prices. 15-minute video calls often cost hundreds of dollars. This is going to be amazing. Can you imagine the idea that people would pay money to talk to successful people one-on-one? Shocking, isn't it, Skep?
We used to call it consulting.
This is okay. You want to talk about a clickbait headline? This is a clickbait headline. This is the nothing burger of all nothing burgers.
This is I'm trying to figure out what the story is about, and as you point out, it's about nothing.
It's about nothing. A classic meme question: dinner with Jay-Z or $500,000? It's a joke about perceived business acumen and the whimsical idea that if you get an hour with the mogul, the conversation might be worth more than $500,000. Might be.
Yeah.
Might be.
Yep.
The right conversation.
What's the beta on that investment?
I don't know, man. But the right conversation. A lot of these people, to get a conversation with them that might change the trajectory of your entire life, a few $1,000s is nothing. It's just nothing. Suppose you were starting out as an investor and you wanted to talk to somebody who is a really successful investor and say, should I give $100,000 to this person? Giving $5,000 to somebody to give you 15 minutes of their time to talk about an opportunity you have is nothing.
Yeah. That what these guys can sell. I mean, in terms of techniques, understanding markets and investing, you can find that information in a lot of different places. These guys can give it to you very, very concentrated. It might make sense from this point of view, but the real value of talking to these people is, looking for opportunities, knowing where the opportunities, not necessarily an individual investment opportunity, but where the opportunities are within a market or within a, discipline. To say, I want to be this kind of a programmer. Okay, well, yeah, I'll tell you something that will, instead of making $100,000 a year, you can make $300,000 a year. That kind of a conversation could change your life, and those are the kind of numbers. There are numbers like that. There are programmers. Harry, did you know there are programmers in Silicon Valley that make over $100,000 a year just programming?
I know, it's shocking, isn't it?
Amazing,
some of them are even good.
Yes,
most of them aren't. Just use generative AI. Learn to code. Wait. Oh, sorry, Hal. I won't get.
Yeah. All of a sudden, I'm a master coder. By the way, did you know that?
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about influencers because when we talk about influencers, usually I think what comes to mind are like influencers on Amazon. Like I bought this thing on Amazon because somebody told me it was really cool, or these sort of influencer people. But then I realized that Dave Portnoy is actually kind of an influencer when it comes to pizza. So Dave Portnoy gave a glowing review to someplace in Southern California, and their business just blew up. I mean, it was just like he said, there's good pizza at, where was it? I know it's in Southern California. Sorry, Haven Pizza, Ozzy's a Pizza. Where? New Haven Style Pizza. Sorry, my brain's not working. Glendale, Southern California. So I don't think all influencers necessarily bad. If David Portnoy wants to tell people where people can go eat pizza, that's not so bad, right?
Yeah, it's not that their pizza is necessarily that much better, but it's what he is a market focuser.
He
focuses the attention of market on a place, and and then the halo effect asserts itself, and of course everybody thinks that the pizza actually is better because they've been told it's better. They've gone, the pizza was good, and they said, "Oh, it is better," because they want that to be true. and it's easy for the brain to make it true, and the serotonin flows.
Yeah. So Serenity made a noise. So Serenity, did you ever watch Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives?
Oh, yeah.
You remember that show where that douchebag with the frosted tips would drive around in the convertible and then
Yeah,
and then eat food?
And he'd moan about any of the food. It's like, oh my God, Flavor Town. I'm like,
yeah, welcome to
up.
Flavor Town. I've got some pretty good memes of him. I should probably dig some of them up. Yeah.
It's that thing of like, that's cool. Their business blew up, and I hope they're able to deal with it. And I'm glad they're getting money, and I hope someone there is smart enough to be able to maneuver all of that into a better business stance and keep the money flowing in. But it's one of those things where it's kind of like, I take people's opinions on food.
With a grain of salt.
Yeah,
Sorry.
It's the truth, because it's like what I consider a really good pizza is not what other people consider a really good pizza. Because I'm a cheese pizza person. I'm just no toppings, just extra cheese. Leave me alone. But it's that kind of thing of where it's kind of like, I've been burned by so many food critics, like TV.
I've been burned by pizza.
Yeah, I've been burned by so many of them.
Top of my mouth is bad.
It's really good, and it wasn't that good that I just kind of don't care. Like,
It looks like a scab. Sorry, I had to say it.
No,
It
I know.
does.
Well, first we have to define what kind of pizza we're talking about, because there's lots of different kinds of pizza. I think I've already told everybody my favorite style is the Neapolitan one. Sort of like go back to basics. Mm-hmm. If you can't make the basic thing, that's where you start.
How crispy do you like the crust, Harry?
Well, it's got to be thin and crispy, and it has to have a good rise to it. The crust needs to taste good enough that you would be willing to eat it by itself. If it isn't, then there's no point in eating the pizza, in my opinion. If there's a bunch of crust left over, you're eating crappy pizza.
Looks like a scab. It looks like Freddy Krueger's face.
It does. I've never had New Haven style pizza, but that's not really the point. Just the whole thing about influencers, they've always been around. Yeah. I just think that it was the e-girls that made them seem so odious.
Yeah.
They're all odious. Portnoy, like, I
don't have an opinion on him, by the way. I don't love him or hate him.
I don't have an opinion. It's one of those things that because of the god dang algorithm on both YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, even though I tell both I'm not interested in his opinion, they still put his stupid pizza things up. I'm like, I don't care.
When it comes to Portnoy, I have no complaint.
Yeah, it's just I just don't care about
anybody get that. Pizza. Any Bueller?
No.
Yeah.
Bueller. Portnoy's complaint.
No, I don't follow him enough to get the joke. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm not part of the in group this time. I'm part of the out group.
Prospero would have gotten it.
Yeah, well, she's not here because she wants to sleep.
I know.
She's up drinking Lemonade Larry with her new friends, and then she passes out before the show. It's just.
But hey, like I said, I just hope they have a business manager at that pizza place who knows at least a little bit of their shit and is able to keep the business going, and not just get a surge and then, because that happens sometimes with some of these restaurants. They'll get a surge from influencers and then they'll just bottom out because they overextend.
Well, I went to a Guy Fieri recommended barbecue place one time, Gorilla Barbecue in Pacifica, California, and it was actually pretty good. I mean,
how expensive was it?
It was California barbecue. It was more than it would be most other places, but it wasn't expensive compared to anything else you could eat.
Silver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but you got to hear the whole story about what the guy did before, and there's all the backstory of the people, and I don't know if I like that or not. I mean, sometimes I find it interesting. Like, if you talk about Ken Forkish, the baker who opened up cafes and stuff in Portland, he's a pretty famous baker. Ken Forkish, his background was in tech, and then he decided that this was destroying his soul, and he just wanted to bake bread. Okay, respect.
I feel that.
That story resonates for me every time I think about not wanting to do tech.
A couple of us here, yes, exactly.
I forget which part of, before he went to Portland, he was in another part of Oregon, and I can't remember which city it was, but it was a smaller one south of Portland, and he was going to set up his bakery there, but the neighbors literally complained to the city about how they did not like the smell of fresh baking bread in the morning disturbing them.
What?
How?
You think that's nuts,
What?
but so the building I work in has a cafe on the bottom,
Yeah.
and there was a complaint, multiple complaints
Mhm.
from a lawyer's office in the building. The fact that they would bake croissants in the morning and the smell infiltrates into the air duct, right? And apparently that went against, I don't know, some bylaw in the strata, blah, 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 blah. And they need to fix that because how dare the delicious, absolutely wonderful smell of their baked croissants disturb their office.
Are the croissants good?
Probably making everybody hungry.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Specifically, they do the ham and cheese croissant. Oh my god.
God, welcome
And if I
to
manage
Harry's
to get
800-pound life.
Yeah. So if I manage to get, like, I will try to get in just slightly, or like I will come in basically like 45 minutes earlier for work sometimes if I'm like, it's been a bad week, so I just want one of their croissants. And I'm talking about they will go in the back, and it's just like they tell you, please let it sit a couple more minutes before you eat it. It's that fresh.
Yeah, don't be dumb. So have you ever had, I can't pronounce it in German, it's König something, but it's basically Queenanon. Or have you ever had one of those? It's like a little thing made out of puff pastry and sugar and deliciousness. Do you familiar with the thing I'm talking about, Sora?
And what's it made from?
I have to see what it looks like.
Let me see if I can find this thing.
Is it König like king?
Yeah. Well, but except it's Queen. I'm screwing it up. Let me see.
Queenig.
Pastry. I have a German baking book behind me, but I'm not going to get up and.
Come on,
Oh yeah,
let's read
I've
the
had this
German
before.
baking book.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a month. Yeah.
Yeah, you need this. Just get some of these. These things are so good.
Oh, that's so funny, Harry.
Yeah.
I
want
pulled up the exact. I clicked on the exact same thing to look it up.
Oh, you sent me a link?
Site, tasting table.
Oh, okay.
No, I did not. But the one I googled.
Oh, okay.
Laminated with butter and
these-
sugar. Oh,
These are like really hard to make sort of as a home baker because we don't have laminating machines in the corner of our kitchens. Yeah. I recommend these. If you ever get a chance to try these, this is one of the apex pastries. So, sorry, why are we talking about pastry?
Because pastries are great.
Because I only eat once a day. That's why we're talking about pastry.
You know who could tell you how that's pronounced? Samael. Sam could.
He could, but he's not here.
Yes, Mr. Frog.
I know it tastes good. I just can't pronounce it. All right, so let's ignore more of this topic. How do we feel? So you want to go science and technology or computing?
Yeah.
Oh, we already did some computing, didn't we? We did that UK thing. We can do a little computing. It
Yeah.
won't be bad. Okay, this nearly indestructible data center is built to withstand winds up to 500 kilometers per hour with absolutely no downtime. But can it withstand the mother of all bombs? So somebody built a data center in near Oklahoma City and designed it to withstand just about any natural disaster you could throw at it. It's like, sure, why not? Has to be
We're all
capable of
gonna
withstanding
die, but we
winds up
got
to
interwebs.
310 miles per hour. So,
The nuke goes off. Internet's still up. Yep.
well, the whole data center thing is, it's like a big topic. It comes up a lot. So, like
it would
for
be
instance,
fine on Neptune.
so like electricity demand from data centers set to double by 2026.
Yeah.
I don't think this is as big a deal as people think it is. Again, probably you could call it clickbait. I think that what you're seeing is a lot of loads being consolidated from other places. This doesn't mean that the total amount of power going into computers is necessarily more.
No.
What is pushing a lot more power is all the GPU stuff for the AI.
The intermediate buckets are moving together. That's all this is. It's not an overall increase.
People doing more AI related stuff in the GPU servers, those things just use an insane amount of power.
Oh, and plus Bitcoin mining.
Oh, that's become less of a deal because the number of remaining Bitcoins to be mined and the power cost going in, it's the value proposition of Bitcoin mining is collapsing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Those days
It's
are
an
over.
interesting probability problem, but that's not going away. It's just going into temporary hibernation.
Well, you're seeing people do really clever things to essentially try to eke that last little bit of profit that's available there. If you can't just call up Dell and say, send me a bunch of expensive servers with GPUs in them and expect to turn a profit, you won't.
Right.
Yeah, you have to do something clever.
Those days are the days that are over, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, yeah.
Good
Anyway.
times.
Yeah.
Fire up the time machine, Harry.
Look
okay.
at all the pretty blue lights. Sorry.
That's a pretty sexy looking data center. But the one thing about this picture, which is stupid, is they don't have them segregated into hot and cold aisles. Because really what you want to do is you want cold air going in one side, then you want hot air coming out the other, and you want to recover that and get it directly out. This is just computer porn is what this is. This is not like a real data center. Real data centers have separate hot cold aisles.
Right.
Are we sure it's not AI generated because they're stupid?
Well, it says Getty Images iStock photo, so I don't know.
No,
They have AI generated stuff in Getty Images now.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enough of that.
Dad.
Let's
Just look at
I'm
what
sorry, I
year
didn't
it
mean to
is.
talk over.
No, just look at what year it is.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
All right. Where's the? I can't find my YouTube studio. Here we are. Okay, 1 hour and 46 minutes in. Okay, so let's see. We don't need to talk about too much. So let's just talk about good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about Starlink, and we'll talk about the Romans later. And we'll talk about Sea Otters later. Sorry, I know 2 of you are disappointed about that.
No, it's okay.
It's okay. We can talk about them later. Talk about Fermilab later.
Here, you're going to have to pick something.
I know. I'm just trying to find the best thing here.
Oh, wait. Apparently, Assassin says you had a report on the border that he discarded last show despite protests against ignoring it.
I did.
Is this true?
Well,
And the only
there's the
person who
whole
protested
topic.
was
Well, there's the whole
Assassin.
topic about the border, which is the Skep and I basically argue about whether it's a federal thing or a state thing and how far it goes. That will take a while. We can talk about it briefly. Hi, Skep.
Yay.
Yeah. So this whole thing about the razor wire at Eagle Park.
Eagle Pass.
Or Eagle Pass, sorry. Supreme Courts say Fed can remove barriers in Texas meant to block migrants. Now, my basic take on it is whether or not I like the outcome of something has nothing to do with it. I look at the law and I try to be consistent about it. And I remember during the summer of peace when everything was on fire after Floydmas, that there were all these protests, and Trump was saying, if you're not going to protect these federal properties in these cities, like places in Wisconsin, we should move in and we're going to take care of it ourselves. And there was this huge uproar from these blue state governors talking about how it was their right to run their states and do whatever they want, and that if the feds come in, that it was going to, they were using the I word practically. I mean, they were really going overboard on this thing. Yep. And people like you and me were saying, no, it's federal property. They should have every right to go in there and take care of that, right?
Yeah, that's how that's supposed to work.
That's sort of how that's supposed to work. So I'm trying to sort of square the circle in my head. It sure sounds like it's a federal responsibility, the border itself. And it sounds to me, it's not like you're living in an apartment and the super won't fix the radiator, and the law allows you to just take care of the radiator if the super doesn't, and then send the bill to them. I really want Texas to be able to do this.
There's a problem with that analogy, though. There's a problem with that analogy. And where it breaks down is that you have 2 parallel interests, and the people whose interests are being threatened or, proceeded against by the illegal immigration are the federal government and the state government. Now, the Fed says, we don't want to do anything about this. We want to let all these people come in, even though they're breaking our law. Texas has an obvious interest in controlling its border, with the border into a state, into our state, and therefore has a legitimate interest that's worth protecting. So while the government can come in and remove the wire, they can come in and remove the wire, provided they get lawful, state-approved access to the area, and that's what they can't do right now. The state police will not let them in.
Yeah,
and I'm here for it.
Well, a lot of the people that are flowing over the border, are they actually illegal, or are they just cynically abusing the laws that we have that aren't fit for purpose?
Well, the people who are coming in over the border, people think, the Joe Biden will tell you that these are doctors and engineers, lawyers, people, families, they're all families.
All of good character.
Kids, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Campfire Girls, also, that's what's coming in, but that's not really what's coming in. What's coming in are single gang member males. That's about 30% of it. Then about another 30% of it is just single males who, they're just economic migrants. And then you do have, about another third of it that those are people with families, but 2/3 of those are trafficked kids. The people don't have any idea. They have no earthly idea of how large that problem is. It's much bigger than the federal government is willing to admit. I'm not being an alarmist about this.
No, you're absolutely right.
Well, just the petticoats we're able to see indicate there's a much bigger problem that has essentially been covered up by Mayorkas et al.
Yeah, every time I see that guy, something just twitches in my brain. There's like, what the hell is going on with these people?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but Karine Jean-Pierre talking about how it's somehow some sort of the Republicans' fault because they didn't sign some bullshit legislation from the Democrats. You mean the legislation to just declare them all legal? Yeah, we solved the illegal problem by just making them all legal. They're done and done. You're just not thinking outside the box, Skep. Anyway, that's the border. We're not going to solve this thing. My general feeling is I still sort of feel like it's a federal authority thing, and them not doing their job doesn't necessarily give Texas the leeway. But I can be convinced. If Jonathan Turley, not trying to put you down, Skep, but I'm just saying if Jonathan Turley wrote like a 10-page thing explaining in detail why it's fine, I would say, sure. If you and I spent another 2 hours talking, I might be convinced. But just on the surface of it, it makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where there's, one thing going on that you can see the resolution to. You understand why that happens. But there's this other less understandable or harder to characterize process that's going on. That is, the Texas's, if they don't have an enforceable, protectable interest in the integrity of the state border, then are they a state?
I don't know if that gets you I don't know if that gets you there. Like I said, I need an answer that satisfies the requirement for both the post-Floydmas Summer of Love and for the Texas thing, and I need it to consistently explain, the position on both things. Because it's way too easy to be swayed by what we know needs to happen, because we know this is broken, right? We know this is a terrible situation. But that doesn't mean that I can just pretend that federal authority doesn't exist.
No, the problem is that the law here is not fit for purpose. The law has become so malleable.
Well, that's what I said earlier. It's not fit for purpose. It's not.
And this is an example of that, where the law, it seems to tell you, and it does. I agree with you that it tells you to do this. What I'm saying is that the law is so completely inadequate to address this that grown-ups have to take the matter into their own hands. And say, no, we're going to improvise here, and we're going to do something that's different. It may be against the law. We're willing to have that tested in court. If they test it in court, we'll do something else and contest that in court.
Absolutely.
We will resist this all the way. We will try and keep our state together as long as we can. But these people, Eagle Pass has 15,000 people in it normally. It's the biggest town out there. It's in the largest county by area in Texas, which means 0 population. But the one big town is Eagle Pass. You have 15,000 people, except right now it's about 125,000 people. And that's only because they pass so many people through. Fort Worth had 6,000 new residents last year, all immigrants. That's what they estimate. Those are illegals. Those are people who have broken our law to enter our country, have been given a court date, and are here, I know, waiting anxiously their court date to find out.
Well, they're going to show up, Skep. I mean,
sure, they all do.
People who are like doctors and lawyers and, you know, that they have organizational skills. They'll show up.
When something is so demonstrably a failure, that's when I think you can use a little bit of that's when the top of the civil disobedience jar it doesn't get opened completely, but it gets unscrewed. You could start smelling it.
I like that, because what you just said sounds good and doesn't get us in trouble with YouTube, because I think we're okay. So let me bring up something. Okay, I have a few other things. So let me just grab some stuff from entertainment. Okay, we've had a few beauty pageants that have gone weird lately. Remember, we had like an African Miss Zimbabwe was like this little white girl, looked like one of Barbie's friends.
What? Yeah.
So now we have this one. Ukrainian-born model Karolina Shino crowned Miss Japan ignites debate.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, okay. So let's see. Now, she basically was born in Ukraine, moved to Japan, is culturally Japanese. I mean, she's been in Japan most of her life.
I didn't think that's how Japan worked, though.
I didn't either, but apparently we were wrong, because here, this is... Yeah, there she is,
aren't there
number
a bunch of Japanese people going, what the fruck?
I mean, much like Miss Zimbabwe. I mean, what, like 1 or 2% of people in Zimbabwe are basically, you know, European descent, right?
Yeah,
and she considers herself to be a proud citizen of Zimbabwe. This woman considers herself to be a proud citizen of Japan. There aren't very many people that get in Japan like this, but the number isn't 0. And
Mazel tov.
Yeah, Mazel tov. Because it feels like everything is weird and upside down, because we have some of these beauty pageants that are just like, you know, having women with penises on the stand. And then other ones we have countries that we thought were sort of ethnically very closed off, like Japan. Is Serenity still with us?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, so, I mean, Japan is not the easiest place to immigrate to, full stop. She must have... Her family must have offered something that they really liked to even let them move there.
Her mom married a Japanese man.
Is that enough?
It can be. There's still a long process you have to go through.
Yeah.
But
is she herself like half Japanese, or is
No.
that her mom's second
so
husband?
okay, this is what it said. Karolina Shino is a Ukrainian-born model of Nagoya, Aichi Prefecture, won the Miss Japan 2024 competition, become the first naturalized Japanese citizen to win the pageant. Sheena moved to Japan when she was 5 years old after her mother married a Japanese man, so that's not her biological father. This is the Miss Nippon. Okay, this is the Miss Nippon contest, is a Japanese beauty pageant held every year in the Miss Nippon Association. So this is not the universe system. This is not what Donald Trump used to own. It's this, in this specific one, the criteria is not limited to appearance, but there's still a world competition. But she technically, to be in the Miss Nippon competition, she doesn't have to look Japanese, air quotes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a slightly different competition.
So if she identifies as Japanese, that's good enough?
No, she's a naturalized Japanese citizen, so she's allowed.
Well, no, but if she just identified as Japanese, so somebody who says I identify as Japanese, they can compete, right?
Yeah.
No.
There's a song for it.
I'm
Is
guessing not if you're not a citizen.
I think
You
I'm
have to
turning
be a
Japanese.
citizen.
I think I'm turning Japanese. I really think so. I can't remember who was that. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. I apologize.
So it's very interesting because of the history of Japan. I wonder if this is basically their version of some weird political move.
Well, she's
or just
she lived there for more than 20 years. She's been in Japan literally her entire life. But yeah.
Like I've watched really interesting like little videos on YouTube of people who are born, like they have British parents, but they were literally born in Japan because their parents are like in a village or in a city that are working there. They're born in Japan. They've never went to another school but a Japanese school. And they speak pure Japanese because they learned it since they were crawling, but they're not considered Japanese, and people don't consider them. They don't look at them. They've best friends they've been in diapers with, you know, because of the interesting view of their culture, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
So that's why I'm thinking. I wonder if how
it's
is it just because her stepfather's local, or
that has a hand in it. Very often, if you were a child raised in Japan, and it's usually after a number of years, you can become a Japanese citizen. It is just terribly difficult. Now, there is a possibility that her father, especially if she grew up in Nagoya, there's a possibility that her father, her stepdad, we'll go stepdad, is a political official, and they can, like with every government, they can fast track it. Personally, in my opinion, seeing a close-up picture of her, the other girls are prettier, so I don't know why she won. But I'm sure there's other parts of the competition that may have had a hand in it.
She won the yodeling competition.
It's what's on the inside, Serenity.
Which one is she?
She's the middle one.
How did she win?
She's the tall
I'm
one.
sorry.
Well, so, and the thing is, this is not the first time this competition's had a controversy. In 2015, there was someone, a woman named by the name of Ariana Miyamoto, who became the first biracial woman to be crowned that.
The truck driver one?
Yeah, she's not, compared to the other four girls, she's not that pretty. So something tells me this is like how it is with a lot of other beauty contests here in the States. Stepdaddy may have connections to certain things. That boosts her ability. Because
every single girl in that picture is prettier than her.
It's not clear enough for me to tell, honestly. I couldn't tell.
At least the article.
And I don't mean to be that guy, but number 2 and number 5 aren't that great.
They're not great, but at least their eyes have symmetry. She does not have a symmetrical face.
Here's an article where her close-up picture is at the very top of the...
This is what you signed up for, right? Is us evaluating the looks of this woman.
Doing smash or pass on the fox.
Let's just set up a rating system here. You know, then we'll get into the semifinals.
Yeah, there's her.
How? Where's her fucking chin? I'm sorry, that was mean.
She's not that great, but she's not that bad. I mean, she's not like a she-beast or anything like that.
Well, the thing is,
2 o'clock in the morning, she's a princess.
Oh, she's not that bad, but I see your point. That I mean, going back to what was it, number 1 here? No, that's the thing. Okay, where'd all my beauty pageant people go?
Scroll down. The full picture's down for.
There you go.
Okay, so I mean, just based on conventional beauty standards, I see your point. I'm not really sure why she won, but I actually knew somebody who was Miss California, and I knew her before she was Miss California. Not an unattractive woman, not unattractive by any means, but not like the kind of person who, like, she'd walk into a room and everybody would just turn and go, and their jaws would drop. Nothing like that. And California is a state full of beautiful women. You go to Southern California and it's like the beauty standards are kind of crazy, okay? Because there's so many people trying to get into the entertainment industry.
So much plastic surgery.
So much plastic surgery. And I'm sure it's the same in Toronto and in a lot of parts of Vancouver, where all our TV comes from now, right? But, I mean, nice enough, very, probably a lot smarter than your average pageant person. And I just base this on what I know about her IQ. I can say statistically that what I'm saying is not bullshit. But she was really gifted in terms of her musical ability. And I think that what put her over the top was she could actually, if you ask her a question, she wouldn't make a fool out of herself. She was probably a lot more confident, and she just nailed the artistic part of it. And so maybe that's sort of what happened with this
not
woman.
Be like that Miss South Carolina from that famous clip.
Yeah. I believe that if I had, $1 million, I would buy everybody a puppy such as a golden retriever.
I really like her.
Yeah.
When she says and such as, and then she just stops.
Well, bless her heart.
Number 12, is it just me or does she look like her head is swollen? Does it look like they photoshopped that?
No, it's her dress and how she's standing. Her head is straight forward, but her torso.
I thought maybe they had photoshopped the picture.
No, the
just
head
didn't
is giant. The head is giant. That's a watermelon head.
No, she just got through apologizing to her ancestors and her village, and so she's all puffy from crying, probably, and apologizing. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing, watermelon head, cantaloupe. Anyway.
But anyway, it's just this whole pageant thing. It's like, does it tell us anything about what's going on in the world with wokeism? Probably not. I can't make sense out of it anymore. I give up.
Oh yeah. Oh God, this competition is not no.
Okay. Well,
this is
the honeydew melon.
I'm looking at pictures from the Miss Nippon contest. That's what this is. This is not Miss Japan. This is Miss Nippon. White trash does not begin to describe this. This is Japanese white trash.
It says Miss Japan contestants.
It is, but it's technically Miss Nippon Grand Prix.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. This is trashy shit. Like, goddamn.
All right.
Yeah, it's Miss. This is a different than Miss Universe and stuff like that. This is not.
Oh yeah, this is just like a knockoff.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. That's what I got from reading about it.
Okay, so one other entertainment thing before we go. So, there used to be this show that would come on late at night on sort of on cable channels that were not the main 3 one. And there was this show with this guy named Byron Allen who would hang around with a bunch of comedians and then they would talk. And I kept thinking to myself back in the 90s, why in the hell does this guy have a show? He's not funny. He's not good at this. Why on earth does this guy have a show?
I'm sorry, who is this?
His name is Byron Allen. And
Byron Allen, black guy?
Black guy. And I was completely shocked to find out that not that long ago, he started this entertainment company and he bought the Weather Channel. Now, how you go from being like not funny comedian hosting not good show to suddenly buying the Weather Channel and now making a $30 billion bid on anything is kind of crazy. So he started out when he was a 14-year-old comedian to join the comedy writing team for Jimmy J.J. Walker, right? He went on Jay Leno, David Letterman. At age 18, he went on The Tonight Show. He, did a bunch of stuff as like a reporter, but this is just basic stuff. But somehow he managed to create an entertainment company and leverage things like he's obviously a very, very, very savvy businessman, way better at business than he is at being a comedian, has turned this extremely, I think, mediocre skill set into a $30 billion bid for Paramount Global.
He had like 3 mortgages on his home, all of which were being foreclosed on at one time.
Yeah.
This guy, Byron Allen.
Oh, wow.
No fooling.
Yeah.
And he was, when he was first financing it, and then in 2012 it started to turn around, and he got some work from the First Family and Mr. Box Office. Evidently that was big, and then he got some angel money, and Entertainment Studios began to pursue a growth by acquisition strategy.
Yeah.
And the Weather Channel was actually just a jewel in that necklace.
Yeah,
and,
amazing.
In 2022, I'm seeing this just from the Wikipedia, although that's a good source. The company was valued at $4.5 billion. I don't know how much, but he owns of it. But you don't have to own much of $4.5 billion to have a lot of money.
Well, yeah, he went from not talented guy who I couldn't understand why he was on TV to suddenly just richer than anything.
Yeah.
Hey, respect.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. No. He was. selected for the Bloomberg 50 as one of the people in business, entertainment, finance, politics, technology, and science whose 2018, that's when it was, accomplishments were particularly noteworthy. And he was also selected the 100 most intriguing entrepreneurs at Goldman Sachs. And he was honored by the Salvation Army and the Los Angeles Metropolitan Advisory Board at the Salvation Army's 11th annual Christmas Kettle Lunch. He's evidently very active in that too. So he's kind of a cool guy.
Yeah.
He also has residences in Aspen, Maui, Los Angeles, and New York City.
Well, fill them all full of immigrants. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, he bought a 2-home compound in Beverly Hills from Jeffrey Skoll for $22 million. And he also has a mansion in Malibu.
As one does.
Yeah. Oh, he bought that one for $100 million.
Well, we have done our 2 hours, and it's time to let Skep toddle off to bed here and get his beauty sleep. So, unless there's anything else, anybody? Kefke, you want to plug your show one more time?
Oh, yes.
That's not happening tomorrow.
What time are you going tomorrow?
9:30.
9:30.
I'm gonna try for 9:30.
9:30 Central Time.
9:30 Memphis barbecue
yes, Central
time.
9:30 Central.
All right. Be there or be square.
9:30 MBT Memphis barbecue time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks for.
Are you bringing barbecue? Are we having Sunday barbecue?
Nice. I think your show could just be the Sunday Barbecue and Ferrets show starring Kefke.
Yeah. Barbecuing ferrets.
Just be careful.
Barbecuing ferrets with Kefke.
You put them in a little cage, and then when they run around on the wheel, it turns the spit with the rotisserie chickens.
There you
It'll
go.
be great.
Exactly. That'd be perfect.
Ferret-powered barbecue. With that, I wish you all good night, everybody.